Welcome to ZIPS Nation Insider. My name is Jacob Farrar, here with Grant Bogdan.
Hello.
Grant, let's recap this past weekend in ZIPS athletics. Over the weekend we had men's and women's basketball that took place. Talk a little bit about what action took place in the jar.
Yeah. So very busy week for both men's and women's. Men's had the one game against Sunny Brockport this past Saturday, which was a huge win, 101-48. So huge win there. 7 players on the team were in double figures. 3-pointer Bowen Hardman had a career high with 20 points. James Okonkwo, double-double, career high in rebounds for him. Just an excellent game all around, really what you wanted to see. No surprises against that opponent, and can move on into the new year, into conference play, on the right note. So good win there.
A couple thoughts on that. One, it was great to have a fan favorite, an Evan Wilson sighting in the first half.
Yeah, a 3-pointer for him.
That was fun. Yeah. Almost double digits for him in points. He had 8. But the other question I had is, I didn't see Amani Lyles. He was in warm-ups, but just didn't get in. So I'm hoping that there wasn't any injuries with him. But I was kind of surprised that with everyone playing so well that he didn't get into the game. So maybe he's being saved for the coach or by the coach for something. But.
Or maybe this upcoming tournament here where they're traveling to El Paso to take on Yale and then potentially Jackson State or UTEP in that second game. So, yeah, hopefully he's not injured long term and we can get him back out there.
He's been a good scorer for the Zips. So hopefully, again, that was just something I noticed being at the game on Saturday. So women's basketball, also another great win for the
two wins.
That's
two
right,
wins.
Correct.
Had Slippery Rock the night of our recording last week. So they won that game huge, 79-43. Maddie Vasicki, who was on our podcast earlier in the year, led the team, tying a career high in points and rebounds with 15 points, 6 boards. And then they also beat Ignatius 82-43 this past Saturday as well. Lisa Taponen had a career high in points, 16 in that game. So 2 big wins for them ahead of the big matchup with U of M coming to town on the 20th.
Yeah, that should be a big game. Michigan coming to town, or I guess the team from up north, as some people like to refer to them as. 5-5 currently. So hopefully, maybe get a win above 500 going into MAC play.
On a little hot streak here, 2 games in a row with Michigan coming up. So in a good spot.
Next, a big weekend. We also had swimming and diving. Had the Zippy Invitational on campus.
Yeah, that was huge. This team's won 10 MAC championships in the last 11 years, which is just an absolutely absurd statistic. So yeah, they're getting back into it. They actually set a few records during the Invitational as well. So that first day, they set a meet record in the 200 medley relay. Day 2, they set it in the 400 medley relay. And then Grace Newford,
I was just going to say
who was our first guest on the
podcast,
set a personal record in the 100 fly. So a phenomenal weekend for them, and they're going to continue the year, doing what they do, winning meets and hopefully MAC championships.
All right, looking, and then also we had track and field was here in the field house where we're at. They had a meet on Friday.
Yep.
They had 3 top finishes, and then. Or 11 victories, and then at least 31 top 3 finishes throughout that meet. So again, they're continuing on some of the things that led them to their success in the outdoor in the fall, cross country, into what's going on here indoor as well.
Yeah, track and field just getting started. Great start for them. Just a couple names to note. Joy Nwokiki took the women's 400 meters in a career best time of 54.97 seconds. So shout out to her and a good start to the track and field team for the year.
All right, anything else?
I think we got a couple recognitions, a couple accolades here.
Sure, let's go.
So there were 5 players on the All-MAC team this year with All-MAC honors.
2 for football?
For football.
Okay.
For football. So 2 were on the All-First defensive team, and then the other 3 just had All-MAC honors. For women's soccer, there were 14 of them that received academic All-MAC honors. And then men's soccer, we had 5 Zips receive first-team All-Region honors, with Yaskalainen getting an invite to the 2024 MLS College Showcase.
So
a mouthful there, but a lot of awards and a lot of recognitions.
Well, the streak of Zip soccer players going into the MLS looks like that will possibly continue with Emil. So
excited to look forward to next year, that men's soccer team. How they're going to replace the leading scorer, which we've talked about, and some of those other graduating seniors. But Coach Embeck, he knows what he's doing over there. He's got a great pipeline, so
trust the process.
Nothing to worry about.
All right. Well, thanks, Grant. Let's bring on our guest today. Yeah, come on in, Bennett. Have a seat. Obviously, how you doing today?
I'm amazing. I wasn't expecting to be here. I'm actually coming down. I'm a little nervous right now. I just came from my final.
Your
actually.
final?
My final. Cost management and control. Thank God it was all multiple choice. I think we got through it all right, but we'll see.
So you're accounting major, saw that.
Yes. Yep.
So I was going to ask this at the end, but let's jump into it since you brought up accounting. Like, is that what's next for you? CPA? Like, what do you think?
Well, I am planning on getting my CPA. I got another year and a semester left in my collegiate journey, but I will be doing the pro day to see if I can land anywhere pro.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Okay, we'll get to a little bit more about that here in a bit.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned accounting. I thought that was kind of a cool little piece of note that again, when you think of a prototypical football player studying accounting, there's probably not a lot of people on the team that are in your classes, right?
Yeah, it's me and my boy Dante Jackson. Shout out Donnie. But yeah, it's basically just us two in my classes so far, and yeah, it's been
Well,
kinda
I
weird.
like the account. I used to work in the business school and College of Business, and I know a lot of the faculty over there in the accounting program. So,
I got you, yeah.
So there's some great people.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we're here with Bennett Adler on ZIPS Nation Insider, powered by Sarah Auto Parts and the Fear the Roof Collective, as well as Bryant Heating and Cooling. So welcome, Bennett. Excited to have you here. We're in the weight room. My guess is you're not unfamiliar with this place.
This is my home, basically. My home away from home. I live in here. This is yeah.
Do you have a favorite machine, a favorite lift that you like to do?
The one that I'm best at is hang clean, but that's a love-hate relationship. I only love it because I'm good at it.
I'm not even sure what that is. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, hang clean and power clean. It's simple stuff. You'd know it if you saw it, but yeah.
I'll trust
It's simple
you.
stuff.
I'll
Other
trust
than
you on that.
It's belt squat. Belt squat's my favorite.
Okay, belt squat.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a few of the 45s on that.
Quite a few.
All right, so let's talk about your path to Akron. So, how did you decide, in high school to come here to be a Zip? What was that process like for you?
Yeah, so I was recruited by Arth. I'm one of the few remaining
Yeah, I was going to
people
ask
from the
about
Arth.
that.
Yeah, from the Arth era. So I knew Arth from a while back. He was my neighbor back when he was working at John Carroll.
Oh my goodness.
So that kind of just worlds colliding once I got to high school and started playing ball. But yeah, so him, Coach Cochran, Coach Hurd, those guys recruited me. I actually lost my offer for a while because they were full on scholarships. And then I had an opportunity late in my senior campaign to get that offer back, and I committed on the spot. It's always been just location's been perfect for me. My family can come watch the home games. I've always loved it here.
Actually, you're one of the few, I think, players that, stuck around their entire. I mean, it feels like these days, it's a rarity. You're kind of you're rare in the process to all your entire eligibility with one team. But I guess it goes to what you just said. Your family's here. You're comfortable.
Absolutely.
They can come and watch. I'm sure the transition between coaching staff was probably a little bit of a challenge, but obviously you weathered that.
No,
was there
definitely.
any time in that where you thought,
Maybe like time to go type of thing?
yeah,
but,
the portal's out there.
the portal is out there. I'm not a fan of the portal, by the way. I'll get that out there.
We'll talk about that in a sec too. You're taking all my questions.
Yeah,
But
sorry,
no,
my
you're
bad.
good. You're good.
But no, I never really had an experience like that. I always kind of believed in myself and knew that my time was coming. I just needed to put in the work to get there.
So you went to St. Ignatius.
Yes.
Very decorated, program, decorated senior year.
Definitely.
How did that experience prepare you for that next level? How did high school, again, was it the coaches? What was that process for you to know that you could transition into playing basically D1 college football?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ignatius prides itself on being a college prep school, and it's the same with school as it is with athletics. We all knew going in what it would be, and Coach Kyle, Coach Cisetti, Coach Franzinger, all of my defensive coaches and head coaches prepared me very well for the next level.
So we talked a little bit about the portal. So you established that you're not a fan.
Not a fan.
And so I wanted to find out, I'm not a player. I'm just a fan. This show is we stand proxy for the fans, Zip Nation. But when we see these players come into the portal, I can't help but be disappointed a little bit. How is it as a as a player, as a teammate, were these players, and again, maybe you don't want to share names or whatever, but I'm just curious when you see those players, put their name in, knowing that, maybe, especially maybe leading going into your senior year, how do you take that as a player?
It's definitely frustrating in some situations seeing how NIL and transfer portal have affected college football. It is definitely frustrating, especially as a leader of a team, seeing guys you view as brothers leave you. But honestly, college football is evolving. This is how it's going to be now.
Yeah, it's not like maybe that first year was kind of weird, but now it's probably just standard procedure, so to speak. And again, I don't slight those players that leave. It's their right to be able to do that. But I've always just been curious. Obviously, I know my point of view as a fan. I've always just been curious from a player point of view to see teammates, enter the portal knowing that, man, we could have had something great.
Yeah.
Especially some of the names that have already entered. We're not going to go into those, but that have already gone into the portal for next year. That I think as a fan, but also the portal giveth and the portal taketh. So we could get some great players as well.
Yeah.
So
sorry about that.
Get some great players coming in. So this past season, I'm sure there were some lofty aspirations, some goals that you guys had as a team that maybe we missed out on this season. However, you did double your win total from 2023,
Yes.
so there was kind of a silver lining. For you, what were some of the standout moments for just not only the team, but for you looking back at the season that ended a couple weeks ago?
Yeah. So going back to our Colgate win, our first win of the season, our first home game of the season, we had a very, very rough start to that game, going down 17-0 immediately. But to see how we faced that adversity and came back, it's just as Coach Moore had addressed it as well. It was so promising to see that change in how probably a few years ago a team would have folded seeing that happen.
Sure.
But we fought back and we came out with the W. So that was definitely a turning point of this season.
And then obviously you had your away game schedule playing some of these Power 4 teams that, we talked about on the podcast that it was really hard to measure what the team is between, the Power 4 games and then the Colgate, like what's going to happen this season.
Yeah.
And obviously there's some, as we talked about, probably games that were super close that could have gone, one score or whatever. But then, those last two games, my guess is that's probably, talk a little bit about those and those last two games of the season.
Those last two. So Toledo was picked to win our league this year. They were picked to win the MAC in the preseason. So, that is just right out the gate an absurd win. And then Kent, bring home the wagon wheel a second consecutive year. That was just huge for motivation going into the final week of the year. And then I am so positive that it will do wonders for us in the offseason.
Those are great, and I was at both, and just how exciting it was. Obviously, the Kent, it's the rival, but then the Toledo game and how it ended, and just the dramatics, the flair for dramatics that this team likes to have. How about yourself? Some of the challenges you had. Did you play injured at all this season? Like, were you able to kind of stay healthy?
So nothing too serious, no surgeries required or anything like that. But I did have a AC joint sprain on my, I think, left shoulder during the Rutgers game. So that kind of limited me for the next 3 weeks. But we have a great training staff, and they got me through it. So
how about from the team overall? Like, again, we talked about you probably had some goals. Didn't meet those, probably that expectation, but you did have the 4 wins. How do you think, the team's performance? I don't want to give you, you don't need to give an A through F grade or whatever, but how do you feel like the team did?
No, multiple games this year came down to just 2 or 3 plays that were honestly just self-inflicted on ourselves that could have changed the course of those games. And so I honestly think that if we do the right things when we need to do them, we come out with more wins than we would have losses this year. And I think that's really what it comes down to.
And that means bowl eligibility.
Exactly.
And that you're still working out in the weight room.
Yeah.
But, woulda, coulda, shoulda, it ended how it did. But, I agree. I think that's, as a fan, from the fans' point of view, that's the thing that's been, I think, a little frustrating the last few years, is just so close to success.
It's 1 point, 1 game, or 1 score losses that we're getting. Super frustrating. You better believe we're feeling it in that locker room. It is frustrating.
Yeah, I can imagine. So when you were going into the season, so again, your last season, right? You're done, right? You're
Yes.
done. You're okay.
Four and done.
Just
No
wanna
red
make
shirt.
Just
Yeah.
want to make sure.
If I had a fifth, I would come back to Akron, but I don't.
So going into the season, what were some of the goals you had personally, and were you able to kind of meet those?
Honestly, I'm not a stat guy. I don't care what stats
Okay.
I get. I just care about doing my job to get us wins, which didn't happen as much as we wanted it to this year, but happened more than it has the past 4 or 5 years. So I'm definitely proud of being a leader on this type of a team.
So let's talk about that for a second. So this year, defensive lineman wearing number 1. That's not a typical number.
Doesn't
for,
usually happen.
But there's some. It's a symbol here. It means something at Akron. So could you talk a little bit about that number 1 and how, again, that kind of the history of it, and then what that meant to you to be able to wear that number?
Yeah, so since Moorhead and his staff have gotten here, they've awarded the number 1 jersey to the player on both sides of the ball that displays leadership and accountability in the offseason. And so myself and Miles Walker earned that during this winter, spring, summer, lifts, meetings, spring ball, everything. I'm trying not to toot my own horn too much here, but we did display the characteristics you want to see on a winning football team, and I think they award that to show other guys that that's the stuff.
The model.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
That's what you need to emulate, right? That's what you-
Exactly.
To look.
Yes.
Also, a team captain. So talk a little bit about
Yes.
that as well. So number 1 and a team captain. How did that feel going into, again, your last season?
Yeah, especially that just meant so much. I love it here. I've always loved it here. All 4 years have been some of the best years of my life, and so it's just been an absolute honor to be considered a leader and a captain of this program.
So from a career aspiration, we talked a little bit about you are going to test the waters with camp,
Yeah.
but also CPA is on the rise.
CPA is definitely in my future,
So,
no matter what.
But talk about kind of things maybe you think you need to work on for that next level from a playing perspective, not from a CPA perspective.
From
right?
playing, okay, yeah.
Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go right now. I could go into fall camp or whatever tomorrow and be ready, but yeah, definitely. I'm a slow man off the edge. I need to work on my explosiveness off the line.
Okay, so that's between now and the camps?
Yes, that's a priority in my training.
Okay. And then off the field, again, talked about accounting. I mean, you mentioned the CPA. I was watching a video or podcast this week. Freddie Freeman, Dodgers, was an accounting major and
No
got his
way.
CPA. So there is a model for professional athletes
I never knew that.
to also be a CPA.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go. I was going to make sure I shared that to
Yeah,
them.
I'm looking to follow in those footsteps.
I mean,
Well,
Freddie Freeman's
hopefully.
pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
take
Oh, yeah.
that as an
I
example.
can't believe the CPA exam is hard. I don't think people understand that. It's 4 different it is a very hard exam. I can't believe a professional athlete got that done. I'm impressed.
So this podcast, Zips Nation Insider, we stand kind of in place of the fans. Talk a little bit about the support of the Zips fans and how that motivates you, especially maybe some of these road games where
Yeah.
there is a presence.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my God. This year has been leagues ahead of past years in fan support, and honestly, I think our interaction with the fans. I think social media might have something to do with that. I don't know if NIL. I don't think NIL has anything to do with that, but definitely social media. Seeing our student section get more filled out. We had shirtless guys with zips written across their chests in every single game. That was awesome.
And that last Toledo game was very cold.
Yeah, I
was the
can't
kid-
believe they showed up. That was awesome.
There was some good. I mean, those last couple games again, especially that Toledo. It's a MAC game. You never know what you're going to get from a
Absolutely.
fan perspective. So thinking about this past season, what was your favorite moment? What do you think your favorite moment of the season was?
Honestly, it's always special to beat Kent. I hate Kent so much. Being myself and Antavius Fish for the first 2 to the wheel, that's probably my favorite moment, is us 2 lifting that up together, being the 2. I mean, we're both graduating this year. That was our last Kent game, so could not be prouder to hold that wheel up with him.
2 years in a row. Like, it's been a while.
2 years in a row.
It's been a while since
Yeah.
Akron's had it 2 years in a row.
I know.
So
It's awesome.
congratulations on that. All right, so this is part of our show where we a little bit more about you. Specifically, do you have any pregame superstitions or rituals that you need to do to ensure success on your part?
I always listen to 3 songs. It
Now,
doesn't
in
matter.
order? Like in order?
Not in order. It's just I need to hit those 3 songs before I go out on the field. That's For Whom the Bell Tolls, Detroit Rock City, and Rock and Roll All Night.
There you go.
Those are my 3. I have to hit those before I go out on the field, or it just does not
So
feel
in
right.
in headphones or like just in the locker room?
I got my AirPods Pro, so it's
Okay.
noise canceling. I don't hear the speakers. I'll sit on the couch and maybe watch a pregame of something else. I'm already stretched by the time I'm listening to music.
Okay.
So I'm stretched out, ready to go, and then I just sit and
Honestly,
honestly
is this before warm-ups on the field, or is
yes,
this?
before warm-ups on the field. This is about like 50 to 60 minutes before
Okay.
the game. So I'll sit on the couch in our locker room, and I honestly could just stare at a blank wall and listen to that. Those 3 songs, I have to hit those 3.
Well, there we go. That's a good. All right. So you're from the Cleveland area.
Yes.
Okay. So one thing we like to find out, all our guests, we've asked this question: if we're coming to visit you, where are we going for pizza? What's your hometown pizza place?
Angelo's.
Angelo's.
Angelo's on Madison. It's my favorite. I love it so much. I always get a full, large bacon and cheese. That's just the best. Bacon with extra cheese. I love it.
Bacon extra, and you're putting down the whole pie.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man.
I'm just asking.
I'm a D lineman. I have to. We'll call it weight maintenance.
But you also, do you get a salad just to maintain?
No, I don't.
I
don't need anything green.
Just the pizza. All right. So actually, I have a couple questions, but let's do this. This is rapid fire. We got some rapid fire questions for you, and this is specifically the. Yeah, can you sing any of those? Are you?
I'm not singing any of those 3 songs.
Well,
I don't have the voice for
we
that.
thought we'd ask. I mean, trying to
My
bring
mom's
up.
gonna watch this and ask me why I didn't sing Brandy. My mom always makes me sing That's
Brandy?
literally just a shout out to my mom.
All right, so I had a continued tradition of our rapid fire questions not being able to bring those up on the phone. So I'm going to try to do this from memory. Okay. This is a Christmas edition of our rapid fire questions.
All right.
First one.
All right.
Real tree, fake tree.
Real tree.
Real tree. Question number 2. Eggnog, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Never had it.
Never had eggnog?
Never had eggnog.
Never had it. So I guess it's thumbs down then?
We'll put it in the middle.
In the middle?
I guess so.
Okay, we need to get an eggnog NIL. That would be.
I mean, reach out, please.
Okay, so the Real Tree, favorite Christmas song?
Oh, Please Come Home for Christmas by the Eagles. Eagles are one of my favorite bands. They're my second favorite band behind Leonard Skinner.
Okay, last question on the rapid fire.
Okay.
Best gift you've given someone?
I've given someone? Oh my God. I can't think that fast.
Make sure it's something to your mom.
Shoot, well, it's gonna be. I got my mom a self-heating coffee mug that like reheats your coffee for it. It's like electric coffee mug that reheats her coffee for her. She's a big coffee gal, so I
Best
got that
gift
for
you've
her.
given, reheating coffee.
I think so, yeah.
All right, last question, final question for you. It's way too early prediction.
Okay.
Who should fans be excited about for ZIPS football in the fall? What players?
Zips football.
What players?
Shoot.
What players? Who should we think about and look forward to next fall?
First and foremost, Bruno Dahl. Bruno Dahl, my boy number 41. He's going to be a starter next. He better be a starter next year. That's a Coach Wart. You better put him at starting the end. But that's number 41. Watch out for the Germinator.
Yes,
German
that's right.
menace off the edge.
So Bruno Dahl, number 41.
Bruno
That's
Dahl.
who. Okay, Zips fans, we need to look.
We
41.
have to, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you, Bennett. I appreciate you being on Zips Nation Insider.
I appreciate you having me.
Well, it's one of those players that we had a list at the beginning of our show. Who do we want? And again, your story, you stuck around here all 4 years. You're from the area. I mean, fan favorite. Also, you're good, captain. So, it's one of those things, you got to have Bennett on the show. So, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And good luck.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck. Hopefully, either on the field or in the office doing your CPA things.
Absolutely.
One of the two. So, we're excited to have, seeing what comes with your career moving forward. So, thank you
Thanks
so
so
much.
much.
Have a good one.
You as well. It's been a pleasure.